how do we empower impact-driven entrepreneurs to grow successful businesses with excellence and change the world. Whenever you have someone new kind of come to the table and ask some questions and tweak your thinking and challenge a few concepts that you just kind of assumed or took for granted over the years, it can just be incredibly valuable. As a coach, as a consultant, we love God, we love business, we love people. We are committed to following the Spirit and advancing God's kingdom, and we think entrepreneurs can change the world for the better.
Welcome to another exciting episode of the podcast, The Thought Leader Revolution. I'm your host, Nicky Ballou. Boy, do we have an exciting guest lined up for you today. Today's guest is a man of faith, a man who has been building an incredible organization, a Christ-centered organization, whose mission is to bring meaningful work to those that have been rescued from human trafficking or extreme poverty. I am speaking, of course, of none other than the one, the only, the legendary Taylor Blom. Welcome to the show, Taylor.
Oh, man, what an intro. So excited to be here, Nicky. Thank you.
Thanks for having me be with you today, my brother. It's just exciting to have this conversation with you. So, Taylor, we were introduced by our mutual friend, Colt Charlebois. Colt's doing some coaching
living
work
legend
for your organization. He's an amazing man. He's been a friend and a client of Teresa and I's, and we know him and his beautiful wife and their lovely son. So, there's just good connections all the way around. Let me tell you a little bit about the show. So the show is a show that's here for the entrepreneur, because we believe that, entrepreneurs have been anointed by God to go out there and make this world a better place. And in that respect, they are heroes. They've got the courage to go out there and dream. They've got the courage to go out there and make things happen. They believe in freedom. They believe in free enterprise. They believe in free expression. And they listen to this show because they want to learn, not from me. They hear from me every week. I'm kind of boring to them, but from you as our guest expert.
I don't know about that.
But before they can truly open themselves up to you, they got to get to know you. So tell us your backstory. How'd you get to be the great Taylor Blom?
Wow. Yes. Oh man, it's just so good to chat with you here today. I'm excited to dive in and, feel like looking at my past and history, it is all centered around how do we empower impact-driven entrepreneurs to grow successful businesses with excellence and change the world and be able to do those things at the same time. And so I've got a background in marketing and started kind of dabbling in real estate photography over 12, 13 years ago, working for a property management company here in West Michigan, where I'm from. I'm married. I have two incredibly amazing children, two boys, very spirited. Life is full and beautiful. And could not do this without them. So I should absolutely start there before I dive into to my history a little bit. But really started dabbling in real estate media back, before you saw Zillow, before you saw these beautiful images of homes everywhere, Realtor.com and everywhere you're looking today. It wasn't like that back then. And so getting into it, without a traditional photography background and more of a marketing mindset, I knew there had to be a direct correlation between the better the media and that quicker that house is going to sell. And so, found my way starting a company back when it originated called Front Door Photos, with specifically that focus, to not get caught in the weeds of the artistic expression, but to really put a client-centric, marketing forward business plan together that met a need, helped clients publish listings faster, quicker than anyone else could, with a local relationship, and found that it worked in all places, West Michigan. And so thinking, wow, if this works here, it could likely work in other markets across the U.S. as well. And so grew it myself for a couple of years, and then got connected with a business legend in West Michigan who was doing some business coaching and consulting. Sat down with him, and he took a look at what I was doing, and the opportunity also comes from a faith background and wanting to use business to make an impact, for Jesus. He's an engineer, so he gets systems, processes, tech, all that stuff that I don't, right? And having a background in sales and marketing and the media side of it, we joined forces to create Next Door Photos that would essentially replicate what I was doing in West Michigan all across the U.S. by creating a platform for entrepreneurs to partner with to serve clients locally in their own real estate communities, but then also knowing that there was a tremendous opportunity to make a global impact on the editing side of things, on the order fulfillment and on the supply chain, which I'm sure we'll get into in a future conversation. But it's my background, my history. Next Door Photos has been around for 7 years. I've been blessed to wear many, many hats along that process, and now get to focus on having awesome conversations like these and really be on the lookout for the next impact-driven local owner operator in cities we want to launch in.
So, tell me how your business model works. I'm very curious.
Yeah, so a huge component of any media company is the editing, right? We realized early on that for about every hour of shooting, there's 3 to 4 hours of editing, making the magic and the blue sky replacement, dropping a digital fire in the fireplace, everything that makes you go, wow, when you're looking at a Zillow listing. Knowing that early on, we know we needed to create a solution to grow and scale with us to keep up with our growing demand in the markets that we were growing into in North America. And so this platform idea started to resonate with us when we were first structuring and organizing the business, because while we believed in growth and scalability and the future, we from the beginning, we believed in people, right? And specifically in partnership. We wanted to share the wins. We wanted to share the growth and equity and value over time with individuals as we grew. And so funny enough, putting this together, we were talking to our legal team early on, and they said, hey, either become a franchise, right? Because we had a vision of launching all these locations across the US, or they said, you should just own all of it and hire market managers. And they said the in-between gets a little messy because you're dealing with people and relationships. And so we thought about it, spent some time praying about it and decided, we just really feel like called to that messy middle, to that partnership, because we wanted to take advantage of the benefits of partnership and being able to tap into local communities with having the local owner own it, right? For them to own it in the right behavior and the right motivation comes with ownership, as entrepreneurs listening to this are going to know, right? Yep. It's an incredible motivator, not to just get paid today, but to build something that grows and builds value for tomorrow and for the future. So we decided, we kind of got the green light to launch the first 5 with these partnerships. And after the first 5, we said, hey, this is working out really well. And we think this is a model moving forward for us. So structurally, we launch new individual businesses. So they're all joint venture LLCs in all the communities that we launch in, with a local owner operator who's active in the business, doing 3 things: business development, leading a team of photographers. We call them media pros because they do more than photos. They do video, drone work, etc., and business excellence. And so if that local owner can drive those 3 things, then we as a parent company can take care of the rest. Editing, like I mentioned already, the accounting, the invoicing, the order fulfillment, the tech support, the marketing collateral, all of that, similar to a franchise, can come from us to be able to free them up to just focus on growing and scaling, winning new business, and delighting clients.
So they're out there working with realtors and other folks who buy and sell real estate, and they basically take photos, do videos, do drone work, all of that kind of stuff to create a media package that allows those properties to be seen at a level that creates wow and makes people want to like, hey, I want to check that out more. Basically, that in a nutshell.
Correct. Yep. And in a way that provides a local relationship like other national competitors can't provide, right? Because they have a local owner there, their cell phone number when something inevitably goes wrong, the process of getting a listing online. They're there to help troubleshoot and work it out. But it also, does, use the economies of scale and the platform that we've built and developed to help streamline and automate so that we can accommodate same day bookings and next morning media delivery turnaround. So not only is that relational piece there, but we also believe and have found that we can do it faster than almost any other competitors can because of our global supply chain and the way that we're able to turn the media around very quickly.
That's amazing. So how many markets are you guys in?
Right now, we've got about 50 local owner operators and just shy of 70 markets that we're running in. So, we're in the U.S. Predominantly, but we also do have a handful of locations in Canada as well.
Brother, that's amazing. What's your vision? How many markets are you looking to be in?
Well, across the U.S. and Canada, there's probably 250, 260 total markets that we can rock in. And so as we've kind of proven out, this model, we made a decision a year and a half ago that said, hey, we want to give existing successful local owners a chance to launch another one, to grow their territory, to build onto what they've created. And so initially we had a kind of a one local owner for one territory type of strategy, but we said, no, we want to just try it and see how it works, right? Especially in bigger cities and locations that have a lot of opportunity. And it worked out phenomenally. People were able to grow and scale, and we had to create different support, services and systems to make sure that they were able to still continue to grow, so business development, admin, et cetera. So at scale, our vision is to have right around 100 impact-driven local owner operators, fire in those 250 markets. And and who knows once we have full market saturation here in North America, who knows where potentially we might try tackle next.
I got to tell you, I like it. I think where you want to go is you want to go to countries where obviously this can be supported, but also places where there's a lot of faith-based folks, so a combination of those two should be excellent as far as I'm concerned.
Absolutely.
I mean, parts of Europe would be great, parts of the UK, parts of Eastern Europe, like Poland, Hungary, I think would be absolutely fantastic as well. Other parts of the English-speaking world, but I'd say you got an opportunity to probably get to 500 markets with what you're doing. So if Canada, US is 250, you could double that with the rest of the world. Why not?
I like that. I like that thinking big. Absolutely. We we definitely have our hands full in figuring out how to scale effectively here in North America. But absolutely, I mean, the sheer numbers say that the more locations that we can launch, the more lives we can impact. The more editors that we can create jobs for who are from traumatic life experience backgrounds in really difficult places and situations around the world. And so having those things kind of rise hand in hand, more locations, better business performance for existing locations equals more impact. It's just a really cool heartbeat for us, part of our model, but a huge motivator at the same time, right? To know that, man, why stop at 10,000 jobs created, lives impacted? Let's really what we can go after beyond that. So I'm down with that big thinking, Nikki. That's great.
Taylor, I'm blown away by what you've created. It's very humbling to me. Like I'm thinking, I'm a man who likes to think that he's made an impact on godly people, and I have. But I look at what you're doing and I go, I'm not thinking big enough. I'm not thinking big enough, not even close. Go, wow, 10,000 people. That's huge, man. Brother, God bless you for what you do. So,
No, thank you.
I know you started working with Colt Charlebois recently, and he's
Yes.
providing coaching support to you and members of your team and your organization. And I'm very gratified that he did this with you, because I've been harassing him for 2 years to start working with Kingdom business owners. I'm like, dude, you're the Kingdom business coach. What are you doing? Why is that not your entire focus? And I said, you got to do a Kingdom business mastermind. And he did that. And he found it difficult, but then he got connected to you and it just flowed. It just moved. And I know how powerful it's been for him because of the conversations I've had with him. How important has it been to you to work with, Kingdom business partners like Colt and like the folks that you're teaming up with in all the markets? Please talk about that.
Yeah, for us, it comes down to the mission and the vision. And we were talking, off there about our manifesto, which talks about how we love God, we love people, we love business. We believe entrepreneurs can change the world for the better. Having that as the heartbeat and having that as the foundation, as I mentioned a few minutes ago, been motivating, but it's also been incredibly aligning, right? Because there are people that don't necessarily line up with all of that, which is totally fine. They totally line up with the impact piece, and that's where we see eye to eye, and that's great, right? And for some people, that's enough for them. But for some people who want to use their lives to not only make money growing a successful business, which, believe me, we think is really important, right? Like this is a for-profit entity that we're running, right? Like it is
100%.
excellent driven. And we don't even lead with the impact piece when we're talking to new realtor clients and when we're, winning new business, because we want them to be so wowed by the excellence of our business, our products, our quality, our operations, the speed and efficiency, that they're like, wow, and then later on when they hear about their impact, it's kind of that cherry on top where they're like, great, I'm a fan for life now. But having that alignment has just been so cool, because God's just directed and orchestrated relationships and partnerships at just the right time when we needed it. So you asked me about what's it been like to work with Cole and have someone with that alignment. It's been incredible. It's been a breath of fresh air, because he's not only come in incredibly aligned with what we're doing and wanting to see us succeed, grow as a business, but also grow the impact. But whenever you take a step back and whenever you have someone new kind of come to the table and ask some questions and tweak your thinking and challenge a few, concepts that you just kind of assumed or took for granted over the years, it can just be incredibly valuable, as a coach, as a consultant, someone who is diving into, all right, let's go deeper here on this. What's the motivation? What's the purpose? And really starting to get at the core of it, right? Then you're able to build the right strategy and the right way forward with someone who can help walk and guide you through that. And so I've worked with Colt a lot on the, new market expansion and what we're doing. And just in a couple of conversations with him, we've just come up with some exciting and fresh ideas that I think can help other people see the vision of what we're doing and an easier way for them to be a part of it. So, man, I think it's a blessing.
It is a blessing. I was speaking to another client of mine who's a Catholic business coach, Catholic mom, business coach for other Catholic moms. And part of her message is to her clients is, you need a business coach to grow. So she's making that assumption that her clients are, yes, I want to grow and I need a business coach to grow. It's important, she says, for you to hire a coach who can get the job done, but also one who's not going to ask you to compromise your values in order to grow your business. And I thought that was very powerful. Like when she said that just hit me right here. I'm like, yeah, exactly. That's right. And in Colt's case, I think that's powerful and important. But I also think it's very cool that he has a background as a realtor, right? So he brings that
Absolutely.
aspect and understanding to the work that he's doing with you, which makes him a very good fit for you and for what you're trying to do in business. So he's a brother in Christ, and he's got a background as a realtor. It's a win-win, from that
No, it
perspective.
is. And he knows his stuff, as you know, and he's gone through the training and has the tools in his tool belt that he can tap into at any point to just to help you get unstuck in some cases and move forward. And he's spending some one-on-one time with our local owner operators as well. And we've heard incredible feedback right from them saying, oh man, it just changed my thinking. It just helped me think bigger. It helped me just get at, some things that I was a little bit stuck on. And so, he's been amazing and will continue to make an impact long after, whatever this relationship with him comes to an end, whenever that is. But yeah, great guy.
I recommend it doesn't come to an end anytime soon, brother.
No, it won't.
I think Colt should be with you on your race to 500. Then maybe you might think about, hey, what else can we do together? But before that, don't even think about it. It's a terrible idea to do anything different.
That's my vote.
My 2 cents.
That's my vote as well.
Yeah. So no, good call. The only problem is he's going to need help once you guys get past a certain size. One man ain't going to be able to do all that. So anyways, I'll leave that bug in your ear and his. You're going to need to figure out a way to get him some help to help your team and make it happen in that way. So I'd like for you to talk about, what made you decide to work with folks who've been coming from extreme poverty and who've been victims of human trafficking. Like, what brought you to this decision?
Yeah, so Paul, my business partner and kind of fellow co-founder, we started Next Door Photos together 7 years ago. He was actually about 6-9 months into us partnering and working together. We were looking for a real estate specific editing company that could not only keep up with where we were at back then, but really grow with us, right? Because we had some pretty big, exciting dreams of scaling and growing earlier on. So he actually, we knew of an organization that operated in Cebu, Philippines, that specifically focused on real estate media work. And so my second son was about to be born, so I stayed back, which it's a good thing I did because he was born a couple weeks early, and that wouldn't have been good. So I was there for it, but he went and was able to, kind of vet this organization out. And so while he was there, one of his friends worked at the time with the Vineyard Church in Asia, and happened to be there saying, hey, one of the churches that I help, coach and lead is close to where you're staying. I'm going to be there. Do you want to come to this church meeting with me? And so long story short, they're in the church meeting and it's the meet and greet time, right? Where you're saying hey to the people around you. And he meets this guy named Sam and instantly feels like, man, this guy's got something going on that's special, because he's a MBA grad, working, had, business background in big finance, working for Deutsche Bank in Ireland. His wife was a medical doctor, and God called them to the Philippines to start a BPO, business process outsourcing company, that specifically had a focus of employing men and women rescued from trafficking.
Wow.
In that specific area. And it was funny because at the time they weren't doing any editing, right? They were doing some database management, some QuickBooks management, et cetera, just helping businesses virtually. But, long story short, he was looking for growth opportunities in his organization. And we asked him, hey, would you consider training your team, Photoshop, Lightroom, how to professionally edit media? And he's like, hey, let's give it a shot. And so January of 2017, we started with just maybe 10 editors, most of them from that background. And, through our growth over the last 6 years, they've grown that team to over 250 probably getting
Oh,
ready to be 300 as they hire and ramp up for this next year. Yeah,
wow.
not only now in the Philippines, but also in Kathmandu, Nepal,
Wow.
as well, which trafficking and abuse is a huge challenge and problem there. And so, having that like-minded, that like-hearted, partnership early on, saying, hey, we want to see these people, be fully restored, walk in freedom, walk that last mile of restoration. And we believe that the best way to do that is through sustainable employment, and in a way that, their needs are getting met, they're getting further education if they choose, they're saving for the first time as they continue to go through the rehabilitation process, mentally, physically, etc. That job is just so key, right? And especially in such a hurting scenario. And so for us, that alignment, that motivation, again, was just rock solid from the beginning foundationally, but also super exciting on both ends, because we knew that the more we grew, the more locations we launched, the more editors that we were going to be able to employ from those backgrounds. And so that's kind of one side of the editing operations. Our other editing partner is based out of Nairobi, Kenya, and slightly different scenario there, where trafficking is less of an issue. However, the unemployment rate, especially for young adults who are technically trained and have some sort of education, is just astronomically high. It's just so uncommon to have a long-term sustainable job, and most of the work you see is 3-month contracts, 6-month contracts, etc. And so that has a little bit of a different focus, different local leadership team there, but the idea is the same. Let's see how many jobs that we can create, from people, some of which are coming from the local slums, being able to have an apartment for the first time, being able to have high-speed internet, in their home, so that their siblings can work and go to school. And just some incredible stories coming out of just the restoration and life change happening there. And so, similar story, a couple of years ago, we started with a handful of editors, and now we're, I believe, close to 70 or 80 total, just with the growth that's taken place.
That's incredible. I mean, that blows me away, what you and your team are doing, what you and your business partner, Paul, are doing. Thought leadership is about finding a way to be known for something. The biggest thing that we say makes you a thought leader is when you're known for what you know. You're known for your level of expertise. You're not just an expert, because experts are a dime a dozen, but you're known for your level of expertise. And you and your business partner have done that. And you have done it without doing any of the traditional things that either coaches or consultants like Colt have created through thought leadership, or even what we're doing with some CEOs these days, which is to help them create a CEO thought leader brand, which is to write a book, to get a podcast, and to be guest on shows. You guys, I don't know if you're doing much of that, but you haven't talked about any of that. So I'm just going to make an assumption, maybe an incorrect one, that you're not doing a lot of that. And yet you are seen as a thought leader in this space. You've created an incredible, fast scaling business. You've put yourself at the center of the brand. You put God at the center of the brand, but you put yourself and how you do it at the center of the brand. And you and your partner have become known for, providing an incredible opportunity for your business partners, but B, for helping provide employment, but even more than that, hope to those people that have been, frankly, in some ways living in hell on earth. God bless you, brother. Like, really, God bless you. You're a good man. You're a good man. Thank you for
Thanks.
coming
No,
on the
I
show.
think
Thank you for all that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, some of your assumptions are right on. For us, the motivation, the spotlight, the credit in Inc. magazine or whatever. It's like, if some of that stuff happens eventually, great, and we'll just use it as an opportunity to encourage entrepreneurs, one, and two, to encourage people to really evaluate, ways to make an impact through their business, because I believe any business can, right? And for us, it comes from a spiritual motivation, but it doesn't have to. For a business to make an impact, it doesn't have to originate from that. And so, while I appreciate those kind words and what you said, I think that there are absolutely more opportunities to use this digital transfer of goods, like we're doing through real estate media, to create jobs in tremendously challenging areas, in situations and lives around the world, but then also empower, people here to take a risk, a bit of one, and start something, right? Create something, launch something, and having a blueprint and kind of a roadmap for our new local owner partners to do that is a gift and an incredible opportunity that we don't take lightly, and we don't take for granted either.
Listen, can I borrow that phrase? We love God, we love people, we love business.
Please, yes.
Yeah,
Heck
I
yes.
really like that.
Absolutely.
I wrote it down. I'm going to start saying that all the time. I think it's great. That's fantastic. So, and just a thought for you. There ought to be a time where you guys ought to look at creating that CEO thought leader brand. You ought to have some sort of podcast that puts out messaging around this stuff for people, or a video channel. You ought to have a book around all this stuff. And as you work with Colt and you get all that messaging figured out going forward, think about that. That's a good idea for you guys to do. I think it'll help you scale more quickly and serve more people. I really do. You ought to be there, because being the Elon Musk of your space, being the Steve Jobs of your space, or even Patrick Bet-David. I don't know if you're familiar with Patrick Bet-David. He's a Christian Iranian like myself who came to the States, and he started a channel called Valuetainment. If you ever check out Valuetainment on YouTube.
Yeah,
it's an entrepreneur channel, and he owns an insurance agency. And when he started the insurance agency, he was doing really well. He had 200 agents on his team. But Valuetainment and a number of books that he wrote helped him create a presence and a brand. And in 10 years, he went from 200 agents to 27,000 agents. It's incredible.
Wow. That's incredible.
It is. That's the power of it, right? His channel was initially short videos of him talking about business, but now he's talking about a lot of different things. He is getting into business, but not just insurance business. In fact, he had a 16-minute video for realtors, and he's an insurance dude. He had a 16-minute video for how can realtors succeed in down markets. And I listened to it, and I'm like, there was some really good advice in this. And he's not gonna get, there's no realtors that are going to join his insurance business, right? But the fact that he is thoughtful enough to put that out there continues to attract more people to want to listen to his stuff and to want to find out about what he does. And that's how he's grown his business. It's been really, really powerful, in my opinion. So those are some thoughts that I've got for you. And if somebody wants to find out more about your company and about the work that you do, or maybe they might even be interested in becoming one of your business partners to see if there's some markets that they're in that you guys don't yet have partners in, how do they go about connecting with you, brother?
Yeah, so a great way for them to learn more information is just going to our website, nextdoorphotos.com. There is a tab on there that says ownership. And so if someone's like, oh, I'd like to check that out and evaluate that as a potential next step in my career, our expansion recruitment team would love to have that conversation. Or if there's a realtor who's listening to this saying, oh, I wonder if Next Door Photos is in my city, go to the website as well. There's another tab that has all our locations, and so you can track down the right location, the right kind of like booking portal to make sure you're in the right spot. But our local owner operators would love to work with you. And if you want to reach out to me in the work I'm doing leading the expansion team, just shoot me an email at expansion@nextdoorphotos.com. You can find me on LinkedIn as well, Taylor Blom, Blom. Just track me down, and love to connect for any reason. Even if it's just someone who wants to chat through impact-driven businesses and just have a good conversation around that. I'm absolutely open.
I love it. I love it. So, Taylor, we're connected. I'm going to connect you with a fellow believer who actually has a real estate company in both Ontario and in South Florida. And I'm going to connect you two men by text. I think you're both going to really enjoy being connected with each other. So the other thing that I wanted to say is we end off each episode by asking you, as our guest expert, for your top 3, what I call expert action steps. These are your 3 best pieces of advice in bullet point form to help my listener take his or her life or business to the next level. So what say you?
First bullet point, don't go at it alone. Find a community, find encouragement, find a group of people who are passionate about whatever idea that you might be pursuing or thinking about. I guarantee there's a group already out there who would love to do that with you. And so don't hold off on that. Get plugged in and get in community today. 2, evaluate, I'd say your career, but even your life, and look for ways that you can make additional impact. Where are ways that you today, without changing a whole lot of things, can make a bigger impact, can work with a slightly different vendor partner that is doing really cool things in their community or giving back, or the options are endless, and the way to do that is going to look different for everybody else. But man, just ask the question, where can I make a bigger impact in my relationships, in my home life, and the work I do? And then 3rd, I would have to say, I don't know why this is bubbling up to the top, but man, you're only going to go as far as your health is going to allow you to. So stay healthy, stay active, get rest, drink water. I think this is because I'm married to a holistic health coach, Nikki, that I have this kind of in the back of my mind. But man, you can change your productivity. You can change a whole lot of things in your life if you're just getting the right amount of sleep, and if you're feeling well, if you're fueling well, if you're doing all those right things from a health perspective, because burnout happens. And speaking from someone who's spent a lot of blood, sweat, and tears over the last 7+ years building something, and feeling seasons of that kind of creep into my life, staying healthy and balanced is just going to allow whatever you're doing to continue to grow.
The fellow that was on the show today is Lieutenant Colonel David Grossman, and the title of the show that got released today is "Why Sleep is a Weapon." He's a military man, so I just was like,
there it is.
I ought to send you this. I think you'd enjoy listening to it.
Love that connection. See, yeah. Then it must be true. Everybody listening.
Yeah, 100%, brother, 100%. Yeah. So let's do it. Let's make it happen, brother. I love those 3 expert action steps. I wrote them all down. And could you read those 3 boards for everybody's benefit for us before we leave?
I can. Yeah. So our manifesto next to our photo says, we love God, we love business, we love people. We are committed to following the Spirit and advancing God's kingdom, and we think entrepreneurs can change the world for the better.
Taylor Blom, brother, God bless you. Thanks for coming on the show. It's been a real honor to have you here. And to my listener, Taylor is the real deal. Make sure that you go to the show notes and you get in touch with him. We're going to put all that stuff about how to connect with him in the show notes. And I highly, highly encourage you to take advantage of connecting with this man. When a guest on this show gives you the opportunity to connect with him, it's very, very important for you to take advantage of it. Your life can be transformed by the quality of your network. Your network truly is your net worth. And if you have an opportunity to connect with somebody great, you should take it. And don't have any chattering monkeys in your head saying, no, but he didn't really mean it. He just said that. He didn't just say that. He's a Christian. He doesn't say anything he doesn't mean. If he didn't want to connect with you in that way, he wouldn't tell you. He wouldn't give you all this information about how to connect with him. So take advantage of it. I'm telling you, you'll be glad that you did. You'll be glad that you did. And make sure that you go to eCircleacademy.com right now. Take advantage of all the resources we have over there to help you make the impact that you were born to make, because you deserve to live life as the best version of yourself. You deserve to fulfill God's purpose for you. And God's purpose for you is a mighty purpose. It's a bigger purpose than you ever imagined, but it can only come true. It can only come alive if you take that step. And what Taylor said in his first expert action step, which I absolutely love, which is don't go at it alone, find a community, get plugged in. This is very important advice. You've heard that on this show before, so I just want to double down on what Taylor said and get you to get plugged in the community. And we've got a community here for you. If what you're hearing is touching your heart, come and join the fold. We'd love to have you. Taylor, brother, thanks so much for coming on the show.
Oh, it's been a pleasure. Thank you, Nikki.
And that wraps up another exciting episode of the podcast, The Thought Leader Revolution. To find out more about today's incredible guest, the one and only Taylor Blom, go to the show notes at thethoughtleaderrevolution.com or wherever you happen to listen to this episode. Until next time, goodbye.
This episode has been brought to you by eCircleacademy.com, the proven system to add 6 to 7 figures a year to your thought leader practice.